Good evening and welcome back to your channel, The Mancunian Way. My name is Martin. I'm your host, and I hope we are all good. Yeah, episode 13 of Martin Talks. You talk, but like I said, he's back in. Episode 13, your show called Fan Calling Show. Let's get some hellos and then we'll get rolling. Give you some little tidbits. But it's your show. You decide the topic. As we will say, the rules that were said last night. Personal, any personal stuff, instant ban. We're not messing around anymore. We're not for you. Fine, don't watch. But the simple fact is, we can agree, we can disagree, but we don't give abuse. Good evening, Martin Leighton Calling Show. Give it a huge thumbs up. Yeah, I do apologise for my lateness. I was dealing with family issues. We kindly ask you to respect, to be nice to Martin callers and guests. Spot on. Thanks very much. Spot on, Mingy Wong. Hello, Briggsy. How are you, mate? Yes, then all. Welcome to another calling show. Press the like button. Free to do. Helps the channel. And it does. Yeah. And if you can share the show out as well, that'd be amazing. And there we are. Let's have a proactive stream. Let's do this all. City announced pre-season friendly against our sister club, Palermo. Yes, that will take place in Italy on Saturday, the 9th of August. Yeah, it's going to be for some trophy or something. Thank you very much, for that. We mentioned it a few weeks back. City Luke TB, family member of his, is sadly suffering from cancer. So they're going to do a run. So there is a GoFundMe. The link is in there. I will post a link out as well. So much love. If you do want to give generously to an absolute amazing cause. Thank you so much. And big up City Luke. Total Football Talk. Good evening, mate. How long will the show last tonight? As long as we've got callers, mate. Tom Mateus, hello. How are you? Yes. Smash the like, subs. 13 calling show. And thank God it's not Friday, else we'll be doing conspiracies. We will. Always be respectful to the guests. Going on to the panel show, as always, to take their time and courage to do so. Yeah, and there will be people who will be brand new, and we want them to feel as relaxed. They can be on camera or off camera. Yeah, I don't know, because you've changed your name and your thing, I won't think you're starting a channel. Big up, Dash. Hello, fellow Trouble Winners and 4P. Big up, DC. How the devil are you? Hope you are well. Yeah, that's just me. We're chilling. Bit of World Cup 2014. 2014. Wow. It's going back. Pin the first. Yeah, we have done. So like I said, talk football, could be 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours. We don't know. Spot on. Yeah, good evening, Cassie. How are you? Hope you are well. JMCFC, hello. Everyone seen the preseason? Yeah. I'd love to get out. I might, you know what? Do I have a little jaunt out to Italy? We're going to have a cheeky little jump out to Italy. Nah, we don't know. Maybe I will. Do you know what? I wouldn't rule out we're going to Italy. Good evening, Lee Gates. How the devil are you, my old mucker? Yes, it will be at the Stadio Renza Barbera, Sicily. Where do I go out? Oof. Do I go out? I don't know, you know. Can get the old EasyJet, Ryanair out to old Italia. Might be on that. See how cheap I can get it. Hello, Lee Gates. Yeah. Don't know why it's got to be Italy. Because where do you want it? It's better than America or Australia or Asia. As we said, let's keep it local. Europe at best. It is our sister club, don't forget. It's part of the CFG group. Good evening, Staffy Dave. How are you? Sean C. Yes, 125th anniversary. Great point. Yes, it is part of our CFG group. Make sure you say hello to each other in the chat as well. Sean, how are the devil are you? Guardiola, good evening, buddy. Palmero, it's owned by the City Football Group, also known as City. Was easy to arrange. There you go. But you know what, JMCFC? We've not arranged anything with Leipzig, have we? Remember, there was meant to be that friendly arranged for the Josko Gabardio deal. Don't know when that's going to be. A weird one. B, good evening. There was no pre-skip. Yes, it wasn't. There was nothing set up. Martin, hope Daddy's stable. Yeah, just he's fine. He's just, you know, doesn't want to go to bed like a child. Get in bed. No, in bed. Bed. Get in bed. Bed now. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm thinking of going over. Cut few super chats. Big up Lee Gates. Thank you so much, mate, for the £2. Really do appreciate that. Your continued generosity means a lot. Hope you're okay, mate. Looking forward to the show. Thank you. £5 FIFA. Thank you, mate, for your continued amazing generosity. Good evening, mate. Hope you're well. My local coffee shop nearly at 5K Insta followers. They're about 50 off. Please made you share. Of course you can. Send me the link and I'll get it shared for you, mate. You know me and coffee. We're here. Bit of a coffee. Thank you, Stephen Gilchrist, for the very, very kind £10. Appreciate that. Big up to you, mate. And the fact you still perceive, despite all the personal things going on in your life, is commendable. I must say, respect to you, sir. Salute to you and your team. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Means a lot. Thank you very much, Stephen. Lynette renewed for the 26th month. You've been going from day one. I think it is that long we've had it going, Lynette. So big up to yourself. Thank you for your continued support. And Emma with the £5. Thank you. You are an inspiration, Martin. The fact you do it all, the fact that you do all that you do while being a carer, shone on me. Such been a lazy sod. Big up to you. No one's a lazy sod, mate. But thank you so much. Can I just say that video last night was not meant to, wasn't how do I put it? Wasn't, oh, let's do this to look good. It wasn't a feel sorry video. It was just a very straightforward video to set out the rules and the expectations moving forward on your channel. Because one thing, listen, every City channel is amazing. Every football channel is amazing. They all offer their own USP. We offer ours. Are we acceptable to everyone? No. Are we going to make everyone like us? No. And that's okay. You have a choice in your life, and we thank you, people, for choosing this channel, your channel. And that's what we want. We want people to come in here to feel wanted, to feel loved, to feel that they can give a view without being attacked. And that's the way it's going to be. But again, I will agree. I will disagree. I am allowed to have my opinion as well. That is part of this community. Will it get a bit heated sometimes? Of course it will. Friends can get a bit heated because that's what friends do. You can be honest with them. One thing I forgot to add, if anyone with the way me and Alan were the other week on the watch along offended anyone, I apologize humbly from my point of view. That was never the intention. We've been going for 6 hours. It was 5:30 in the morning, and I thought Alan was saying some things that were a bit too derogatory, and maybe I went a bit OTC. So for that, I apologize. I'm a human being. I'm going through a lot. I will say things that I do not mean, and I will lose my rag now and again. I apologize for that. I will try my best to keep myself in line. We'll get the lines open. I'm just going to go through a couple of bits and then we'll get it open. Apparently, we agree personal terms. Who said that, Cade? Where's that come from? Who said that? If you let me know, Cade, that'd be amazing. Thank you. Decent tune is that? Yeah, we're going to try a couple of little intro things just to let people come in, settle down, grab a drink, bite to eat, whatever you want to do. StreamYard, because we are paying the top whack for StreamYard, by the way. I am trying to get it lower. StreamYard, please, you know, help. We are going to look at doing that. So we will sort of, you know, just let it build up, things like that. Hello, House Captain. How are you? Brandon Masters Cadwell. We haven't agreed anything, mate. I don't know where. I don't know. Listen, if that's from a couple of people on X, that's maybe what they've heard. Told you I'm not doing the ITK stuff a lot anymore. Coming away from that. It's got me into trouble. But the simple fact is, not heard anything of it. So hopefully we do, because I do think we need a right back. Hello, DC. House Captain is here. SOS. Good evening, me old mucker. Wagwan. Good evening, Lee Johnson. How are you? JMCFC. I will respond to a few people have emailed me. Thank you so much for your lovely comments, by the way. Over 100 comments yesterday, which was wild underneath. Thank you so much. I've responded back to everyone underneath the video, and I will respond to emails in the next 12 to 24 hours. So I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Good evening, Bidette, Peter Curry, Nico. I'm going to go through that because the local people have said it. Purple panel. Right. That's up to you, mate. I don't know, but I've not heard anything about it. Right then, girls, usual crap. We all adhere always, but like up. Freeze channel, spot on, mate. Martin talks, I listen. Appreciate that. But you don't have to talk to me. Yes, I'm absolutely fine, and my father is absolutely fine. I've had people asking me if I was having a breakdown yesterday. No, I'm not. I was just literally. Can we do a panel show, mate? We'll see who comes on. Breaking Big Steve thinks we're getting a right back. I hope so. Listen, we do need a right back. I agree. Do I think it's Livramento? I hope it's Livramento. I do think we need a right back. Good evening, Indriel. How are you? David T. Hello. I know you've had the old here we go tonight on Elanga. Do you think we'll get another friendly or just... I think it would have been announced by now. Would it be in the 9th? Probably not. I think Oscar, but I think that's going to be the only one. I think we'll probably get a 1 in. That's it. Are Arsenal favourites now? Why? Why would Arsenal be favourites? Because they bought Jackaras. We'll see. Are we getting a right back? I don't know if we will, but I hope we will. And I would probably say yes, we will. Do you think we'll get another friendly game? No, just the one at the minute, I'm thinking. Evening, Martin, all Super Blues, like the stream gang for our Martin. So sorry, can't stop on a rough, feel rough tonight. Mate, you go away and get yourself feeling better, mate. Honestly, don't worry about it. Go and feel good. We'll watch recording where stuff just come up. No worries, mate. Appreciate that. Like I said, this is always back on record. Evening Alternative. How the devil are you? Ronald, hello. Good evening. Stevie Black's in the house. Buongiorno, you rainbow lover, you Stevie Black. Some will know what that means, some will not. Martin Abid Rodrigo, representative in Talk City. No, I have not. I think that's just Twitter stuff, if you want me to be honest. Same with Dumfries. I think that's all Twitter stuff as well. Evening all in the chat. The Dumfries one, if that's real, you'll find out soon because his release clause is only till the middle of July. And we're nearly at the middle of July already. So if that gets done quick. But do you know what I find ironic is he's 29 and everyone's moaning about buying older players. Why do you want to buy a 29-year-old? Just saying, this is what we can't be doing the he's old, he's not, he's an uncle, and then go and buy a 29-year-old right back. Which one we doing? Now, I can't be bothered. Don't worry. Ed, how are you? House Captain Lisa's dad put this. Very, very true. Very, very true. Is Nico leaving? Right, we'll get into it. There was all these rumours from think it was it Graham Bailey, the Northeast reporter, Middlesbrough fan, I believe. And there was also from Fabrizio. Manchester City have apparently told Sam Lee and Simon Majowski that there is nothing in the Nico G stuff. The plan is Nico G will be here for pre-season, and the plan is to stay. There is no plan to sell him. One thing I will say is his agent is Jorge Mendes. Now, City didn't always do a lot of business with Jorge Mendes. We now are. Just be careful. Jorge Mendes does have a reputation of trying to move players on and get them out and get things going. If you want me to be honest with you, I think it's a lot of BS. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Do I think he's bothered about his game time? Potentially, but right now, no. Do I think he's the finished article? No, I don't. Do I think there's faults in his displays? Yes, I do. Do I think he's better than some players we've got? Yes. Do I think he should have been given more chances? Yes. But people have got to stop talking about Nico Gonzalez as though he's Tijani Reinders and Rodri. He's not. He's far from the finished article, in my opinion. Still a great player, but he is still very, very new into this. Now, I know we've made mistakes before with Calvin Phillips, etc., but even Calvin Phillips got a year and a half. I will be shell-shocked and mesmerised if we are doing it 6 months down the line. That will have also come from the player's side as well. You don't just sell a player. City don't invest 55 million quid and then 6 months later go, oh, we made a mistake. That will, if there is any truth in this, I would also look at agent and player as well. I really would, because I think they've got to have something to do with this as well. Hello, AK. How the devil are you? Justin, just the man I want to speak to. I know there's no thing on that. Your comments won't allow me to reply back to you for some weird reason. The channel is not deleting, mate. Do not worry. But Justin, if you just check your settings, mate, it's weird because I can't respond to your comments. I don't know why. So please double check that for me, mate. Right, we're going to get the lines open in a minute. Also want to say good luck and best wishes to Kyle Walker. I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but we will always do that on this channel. 9 years at Manchester City. He was a legend, or well, not a legend on the way out, but he was, for me, the best right back ever in the Premier League in the last 10 years. And I think, you know, best of luck at Burnley. I hope he smashes it. He has gone now. Chapter is over. Let's put it to bed. It's over with now. And I think City are going to do this the right way. Gundo, yes, he has gone to Turkey. His wife has put a response out like they're going on holiday. I generally will believe, I think he will leave, and I think he will be a Galatasaray player by the end of the window. I may be wrong, but that's just my opinion. Everyone dislikes me, Martin. It's fine. Steve, okay, Master. Genuinely sit around and look out for each other. I've done for as long as I can remember. Yep, we have. Can you get my brother Alan on? I don't know where Alan is. Alan might be asleep. Hey, I know BM, but I just want to say it on my half. I just saw it on Twitter. Oh, okay, but I know where you've got it from now. But you've got family to deal with. That's called first impact stress. It's natural. No, I know, but sometimes I can make errors. You don't a great job. I don't do a great job. Cheeky bastard. I know you meant Dave. I'm throwing you under the bus there. Magnus, you went right under the bus, mate. No, it's Chris Wood. Piss off. By the way, Anne-Marie and Paddy thought that was real yesterday, Adam. That's why I went on. They actually thought I wanted to buy Chris Wood. Don't know where that came from. Oh. Personally, I'm indifferent about Nico. He's been great so far. I can get something out of him, maybe a swap deal. I think we just have to wait and see, mate. Hello, this is City. Go and show this City a lot of love. Smash that like button and go and give that subscribe button to This Is City as well. Great channel, up and coming. Love it. Strangely, man replied, right, well, top of the league, I will explain to you now. That was not me. We I do not delete. Now, whether a moderator has, I will speak to them again. I will say this so you can hear it, top of the league. Moderators, please do not delete any comments underneath a video, even if they are slagging me off. Let them stay there. I will respond. I did respond to top of the league's comment. It's your opinion, mate. I think you're only looking at it from one side of an argument. That's fine. It's your opinion. But like we've always said, top of the league, if people don't like this channel, don't watch. If people do, great. But we will agree and disagree. We have allowed. But I'm not going to have people threatening to beat up players on a live show, top of the league. That was my response to you, and I will say it. But it's done. It's water under the bridge. We move on. Liam here on a school night. Hello. Big up, Martin. Hope you're good. I'm very good, CJ. How the devil are you? Hope you are well. Jokeres will flop. Just wait and see. The Prem ain't no jump league. Whoa, says Pablo. Dumfries. I don't see it. I don't get it. Again, he's 29 years old. What happened to 29, 30s and unk? I'd be surprised Jokeres scores more than 15. I think it's a good signing. I do think it's a good signing. I'm not going to lie. Hope it's less happy clapper and higher standards today. Hey, mate, I'm always going to be happy clapper. That's me. Hello, Martin. Hello. Great channel. Thank you very much, Sean C, for the $4.99. Great channel. Great chat. Thank you, Martin. Come on, City. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you so much. Rhythm is a dancing. Yeah, I think you've overpaid, David C. I think you're massively overpaid. He's not a £60 million player going up to it anyway. But, hey, we'll see. If City had paid that money, I'd have been fuming. I'd have been fuming, David, to be honest with you. But, you know, it is what it is. Great video yesterday. I completely agree with everything you said. It's gone too far now. Football is meant to be escape from life, not another route to attack. Exactly. And what I've noticed is people who said they've got standards don't allow anyone else to have lower standards. So they're just as guilty as the people who are my fellow happy clappers. And that's the bit they've also got to realise there's fault on both sides here, is that just because you love a club and not, you know, it's not win every single, 38 or 38, etc. So be it. You can't have a go at the people who are doing that either. It works both ways. 29 gives, no, but that's what people say, top of the league. 29 is old. People are saying Bernardo's old at 30. He's 30 years old, so Bernardo's not old then. This is what I'm saying. We can't be doing that. See, you can be fatigued of a player. So it is what it is. Go Southern Gill impact straight away. Come on, man, it's Portugal League. Southampton finest in the house. Luke, don't take that. Don't take that. Have a word with him. Then would you be selling Pope if you get Trafford? What? Will you get off this Nick Pope train? You get off it. It's not happening. Nick Pope, look at him. He's loving it. You're getting a little backhander there. Go on to an holiday, but still me. Well, yeah, there you go then. I'm just guarded till I see something concrete. Yeah, spot on. I want someone who can handle crosses. I had a joke, but I can't do it. I'll tell you in the space later. Hi, Martin, on the chat. Hello, Simon. How the devil are you, Mill Mucker? I'm not even a City man, but I think Neil G has high potential to get the level of, say, Frankie de Jong. Oh, that is some level, Pierre. That is some level, my old mate. I mean, wow. As long as he doesn't ask for his wages, am I right? Where we are. Jarvis looks like Tino Etman's true. English tax is crazy. Got a bit of a problem with homegrown. I'll go through that as well in a bit. Saw a tweet yesterday, which is spot on, Jarvis. So we'll go through it. Yeah, like I said, I don't know why. I will look into that. But like I said, mods, please do not delete any comments, good or bad. Thank you. I know you all do an amazing job and you are top people, but please don't delete comments. The only time YouTube do it is if there is anything offensive. They do have trigger words that YouTube can delete on. Docu versus Walker should be fun next season. We'll see. Evening, Martin. Evening, Mark Harris. How about the devil are you? Could see Ortega going into Milan since they need a new keeper for summer. We'll see. Also, Dominic's changed his age, so could be a link rules. Again, I think we'll know quite quickly if anything true in the Dumfries camp. Martin, applicants for the players we want to get rid of, couldn't we just tell them we don't register them? No, we're not doing that. No, we're not going to not register someone. No, we won't do that. Because you still got to pay the wages, MCFC. Not registering them does nothing. Because you don't not pay wages. Still got to pay wages. Remember Winston Bogard from all them years ago? Appreciate loving the content largely. Great message, buddy. Yeah, spot on, mate. Thank you. And go and give Not in My Lifetime a lot of love as well. Top channel, Bebo, Alex, Luke, and the gang over there. Go and show them a lot of love. Great up and coming channel. Really small, but they're going to get much, much bigger because they're doing fantastic, fantastic work. But my messages to you weren't getting through. You okay? Liam, so you disliked it before then. Martin, can I come and talk to you, please? Yes, you can. And we'll put the link on in 2 minutes. I'm just trying to make sure we say hello to everyone because that's what we do here. Spartacus, no, I'm ignoring you because you're doing it on purpose. Stop going about Pedro, you naughty, naughty boy. Nico G leaves. There's a clear disconnect between Biana and Pep. Pep is the GOAT. Cosmic Boy, it won't be because, by the way, can we just one the way? Whoa, let's slow down, Cosmic Bagger. Biana does the selling, not Pep. Pep doesn't do contract negotiations either. Biana does that. So just be careful here what we're doing. If we get Liberamento, can we take Walker's place or do we have to sell to make a place? I wasn't including Walker in it, no, but we will go through it. Martin, deleted Twitter. People just pivoting negative. That's the thing, yeah. The people are just negative for the sake of being negative, which is a shame. It's a shame. It really is. Oh, he stepped away. She stepped away, House. Have a word with the Magnus. Big up, Mike. How you doing? Big up, Kobe. How the devil are you, mate? Dumfries and Galloway. Don't. Mike, deleted Twitter. We just done that one. Yeah, it does, mate. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, mate, what's going on at the minute. Big up Martin, says Dom Royal, really worried about our defence. We need a new right back and a goalkeeper. Completely agree on the right back. Goalkeeper, if Edison signs a new contract and knuckles down, I think we'll be fine. But we 100%, I do agree, we do need a right back. I think we can kiss the goodbye to the league. Disagree with that, because I think we can. We won the league with Delph. We can win the league with Nunes there. It'd just be a lot more step up from everybody else. Also, we're in big trouble with Arsenal signed Rodrigo. The problem is there's no room to buy Rodrigo. You've got Mamouche, you've got Doku. You can't have Doku, Mamouche, and Rodrigo all vying for one side of the pitch. That'll just that is a bit old TT. Someone has to go in there. Evening, that's just my opinion. Any rumours on tonight and time regarding absolutely no news or rumours tonight on Tino? Are you concerned about how we seem to be throwing money at every position in the squad? We used to be serial planners. If Nico G is sold, I will then say that was a panic buy. But I don't believe he will be sold. And I also believe, I think Jorge Mendes is doing Jorge Mendes. I think Jorge Mendes, and you got to remember, I keep saying this, and there's someone who comes on the space, is Danielle, who knows, just appeared in the comments, who knows how this game is. Fabrizio Romano is very close to Jorge Mendes, apparently. 2-2. Right, let's get the lines open. I then replied to reply, accept your opinion and said about the players being beat up, and you know I'm not agreeing to that. I did say about many points you thought that, and that's fine, mate, no problem. And I didn't delete it. I can assure you, I did not delete it, mate. We don't. There's other negative comments on there, top of the league. We don't delete it, and you've heard me just say don't delete it. Exactly, Cather. Pep outside in, outside, inside, check it all about. We'll see. Right, let's get things rolling. Do I think City thinking? No, City aren't selling Nico. This is what, right, stop. Manchester City are not trying to sell Nico Gonzalez. Simon Bajowski, Sam Lee, and somebody else has all verified that tonight. They're not trying to sell him. I don't know where this has come from. This is either come out of the players' camp or his agent. City are not trying to sell him. Yep. There you go. Right, let's get things going. Let's get the link going. Copy that. Let's put it in here. Let's put it at the top. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's pin it. Let's pin it. And let's have a great watch along calling show. There you go. Lines are now open. Come and have your say. Introduce yourself. Be clear. And just have fun. Your channel. You're back now. Where have you been, you lazy sod? How rude. Blue Heart, Mill Mucker. You still got that ghost behind the bed. Oh, Dash is here. Good evening, Dash. First caller of the evening. Good morning, mate. How the devil are you?
Hi there, mate. All good?
How you doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Refreshed and revitalized. Look, I've not even bought Costa. I've actually been and made my own coffee tonight.
Oh, is it? Espresso?
Saving the pennies. But I'm sorry, by the way, Costa wouldn't do the they wouldn't do the sponsorship deal, so I've jacked them on. Jacked them on the head.
Don't worry, man. You have one more year, man, to get that sponsorship incoming. Or maybe try Starbucks, man.
I've also got my apple juice. I'm on my health kick. Right, go on. What do you want to talk about, mate?
I mean, let's just get the elephant out of the room, Nico Gonzalez.
Bye then.
That's
I'll go. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, you said elephant out the room. I thought I'd go. I've been called a fat twat. Carry on.
But yeah, like, it's actually quite weird, you know, that it's all come out just now in the last, 48 hours, because it's the fact that with him, we all know that he hasn't, ever since Everton, he's not been having the best amount of minutes on the pitch.
Yeah.
But I think it was something that probably Pep knew. Because if we looked at the Everton game, yeah, it wasn't just a 3-yard passes or 4-yard passes that he was making mistakes on. It's the fact that he struggled to go from back to goal. And that's only probably some players in the team that can do, like Phil Foden, Rodri. They're the ones that can, out of the top of your head, that can do that. And even Rodri had a lot of mistakes in that aspect in his first 2 years. Obviously, in his third season, he was, well class. But I think there's always going to be concern for Nico, and probably put him on the limelight just to make sure that he gets, I'll say, training and also guidance on that aspect. Because I won't be surprised if the Club World Cup here was used as a way for Gundogan's last hurrah if he does go to Galatasaray, and probably Pep telling Nico, all right, then observe this man, see what he does, learn from him a lot more. Because he's mainly innate, and he said that in the interview when he first came to City. So, yeah, I can't see it happening. I just can't see him leaving. Because if he does leave, then it signals to what that one, he's a panic buy, and two, there's a huge area of miscommunication within the boardroom and Pep. Because if Pep is saying that I don't mind this player, the board, or I should say Teak at the time, or Viana, they should be telling him, are you going to actually utilize this player a lot more or underutilize? And if the word is underutilize, then there's no point of getting him. You might as well give Pep players that he's going to utilize a lot more better, because there's no point of having players that are going to potentially be loaned out or be sold within a year's time or 2 years' time if they don't work. And listen, signings can obviously not be right. Sometimes signings cannot work out. That's fine. That's football. But if you see a pattern for the last 3 years, there's players that Pep has like slightly referenced, like slightly implied in press conferences where it doesn't really favour them. And that's probably something to do with probably the level and quality of the player that he wants, or maybe a communication issue. So it's a lot of things. But I don't think Nico will go. I think he'll stay. Probably just Jorge Mendes ramping up the PR stint for Nico G, probably taking that advantage of that lack of minutes in the Club World Cup.
Okay. I mean, it's weird because I'm trying to understand where the Nico G stuff has come from, you know. And every time I think it's got to be the agent.
Oh yeah, has to be. I can't if because Nico, yeah, Nico would have definitely known that he's coming in as a backup because he knows Rodri is playing all day and every day. Let's be real. And we also had what's it called, Kovacic and Gundogan at the time, so he knows that there'll be games where he will be benched out. Now, adding to the context that Rodri wasn't there, he probably might have felt that he should have been getting a lot more minutes, which is fine. I think every player goes through that phase, but it was mainly about probably Rodri. So it's like, even if it's true that Nico G if wants to leave, then you should have known what you're going into. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the same time, Martin, I think there's got to be a bit of criticism on Pep because I do understand why after Everton, but I feel like there were times where we were overplaying Gundogan and Kovacic, and he was needed to be put in the starting 11 in some game. For example, Southampton at that rubber, for example, yeah, or maybe let's just say the FA Cup final, for example, maybe put some stability in the back. There were games then, even in the Club World Cup. Like I know probably that Pep wanted to give Gundogan probably his last hurrah in case that he wants to move elsewhere if he wants to. But even then, it's like you got Nico G there. Why not try a Nico G Rodri Randers link up as a midfield three? Why not? Test that for one game. We're against Al Wayad, Al Ain, Juventus, maybe even Al Hilal. Try it out. So I think his agent probably used that tournament and thought, okay, let me make a story out of this. So I give him a pair in it a little bit because he shouldn't be, you know what I mean, making him stay on the bench all this time. So there's got to be enough game time for a £50 million player. Because let's be real, with City, we can get away with £50 million signing not working out in a year. Because some clubs, they don't have the luxury of doing it. They just don't have that luxury. So we gotta be more careful. That's the word.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, what do you think on outgoings? Who do you think, if you were you, who would you sell, or who do you think will leave? Let's take the way who we want, because that's where we end up going down a road of World War VI. Who do you think will leave?
Based on what? Reports, links?
Just
Or,
what you think, what you actually think.
I mean, defense. I mean, there were rumors in the USA that have been going around in the media that Kusno might be loaned. I wouldn't be surprised on that, but as of now, there's nothing really to say that he's going on loan. I'm thinking John Stones because he did have interest in the past from Everton, from Newcastle, etc. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Vinny Company would have called him up, maybe had a talk about him, saying, you know what, come to Bayern Munich, because Eric Dyer probably went to Bayern Munich too, and he's probably attracting a lot of English talent over there. So I won't be surprised if he did win. So that's probably two out of seven, 8 defenders. If I think of it for anyone else in defense, maybe a Kanji if he does get an offer, maybe him. But I'm probably stretching it a bit too much. So that's 3 defense.
If you sell Stones, Kanji, and someone else, would you be happy with Kushner for Victor Hayes, or would you like to buy a ready-made replacement as well?
Speaking for myself only, I actually would be happy with Victor Hayes and Kushner, and I'll tell you why. Okay. If the club really backs both of them players, why not give them the proper chance to be in high pressure situations? Because, and by the way, this is not about the City fan base or just Premier League in general. I'm thinking around football. They're saying give this player like time, give him time to be just slowly embed in. I just think that if you're good enough, why not put you in games and listen in high pressure moments? And listen, they may falter, but they'll learn from it. That's how you get.
Okay, no, I agree. That was my next point, and I fully agree with you. They should be given a chance, and they may falter. Will they be allowed to falter? And I'm going to give you one example. I know everyone's going to go mad at me now. Rico Lewis, player of the month, was superb for 6 months. Now a lot of people want him out the door and they want to buy a new right back.
That's a thing.
If you sold Stones and Akanji, you are now down to inexperience. And I'm not saying don't give him the chance. I totally agree with you. For me, I would want to buy a recognised centre-back ready-made as well.
As what, like, to do the Akanji role? If that's what you're thinking?
Because we are also in a win-now mentality as a football club, and a lot of the fan base is a win-now mentality. Victor Hayes and Kushinoff are going to be amazing players, but they have played very little football before they hit City. It is a gamble still.
Yeah. I mean,
Kushinoff has only played 5 or 6 games for City, and we're saying you're the new Stones and Akanji. That's like saying Nico Riley's the new Rodri. Do you get what I mean?
No, I get what you mean in that aspect, but why not see him try? And this is the thing: if you're really that concerned, about the lack of experience, which I don't think is an issue, because we've got enough players that have been in international tournaments, been in high push situations in the Champions League, in the Premier League too. If you're that bothered, then maybe Denzel Dumfries, for example, just an example, could make sense. Been a 2-time Champions League finalist, won Serie A, been in title race before. Maybe you could put him in a right back, and maybe put. So maybe if you want to do that, you could do that. Or if you're looking at a centre back, and I'm trying to think really off the top of my head, which I'm really struggling at the moment, then maybe I'm trying to think of a defender that's actually proper mint.
See, I would prefer, if we're going to sign the Akanji and Stones, I would love a Matt Gay. Just to give us that deadline. Because the thing is with Cushion and Big Tays, I think they're going to be amazing players, but there's no chance to grow. You're literally saying sink or swim.
You know what? I can't see Mark Way, man.
At that point.
Yeah. I do understand you to what the homegrown aspect, but I don't see Mark Way coming in. I wouldn't mind seeing a Konza.
That's an example. I'm just using an example.
Oh, okay. Then Mark Way is a good contender. I wouldn't mind Ezri Konza if he's available.
Sorry, can I just clarify something, Dash? Alan, we're not selling him. Relax. I don't know where that's come from. Relax.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind an Ezri Konza, for example. I wouldn't mind him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just someone as a experienced guy as a backup as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it if you're that bothered, but I just think give him a chance. And if it fucks up, like, then I have to hold my hands up anymore. You know what I mean? I gotta be consistent on this, and I want to give him a chance, and it's risky, but you never know. Sometimes gems are made in the biggest opportunities of their life and the biggest pressures. You never know this in football. Look at Kabassi for Barcelona.
The real thing is, why is no one craving Jamal Simpson-Pouza?
I think it's because of the fact that the board probably doesn't rate him or Pep.
You know what I mean, though, don't you? You know my point I'm getting out there.
I know what you mean.
It is. I'm not saying it's not, but I think people just got to. If you want the youngsters, I don't see Jamal Simpson-Pouza's name, who got EDS2 Player of the Year, being chucked around as let's throw him in.
I know. But
you know what I mean? You know what I'm getting at?
I know what you're saying, but I think with Simpson-Pouza, wasn't it? I think probably the wrong situation to put him in, if you think about it. But at the time, we had no defender, so I think it shot himself on the foot regardless of what it was, because we had no defenders. Literally, they're all out on our knees for something. So it's one of those situations with Simpson-Pouza. But didn't Simpson-Pouza actually came out in an interview and said he wants 30 minutes and wants to go? I swear, like a month ago, 2 months ago, he said that in an interview.
But one thing that Danielle, we don't know what the profit. We don't know what they promised. Let's chill out on the promise. We don't know what they promised. Twitter's not the most reliable place for the promise. They don't promise anything. And like SOS saying, people say Nick Jones hardly played. He played in 17 games. He's played like 3 times more games than Kushinoff and Victor Hayes, but there's not rumours about them going. By the way, the link people looking at is I've had an email and a thing to put us in the Content Creator Awards of 2025. So if you do want to go on there and vote for us, that would be marvelous. You don't have to. I didn't even realize we were being looked at that, but we are being looked upon. I don't know what category. I don't know a lot about it. I have emailed them back for information. But yes, we've been asked directly from the Football Content Awards. We've been asked, hope you're all well. Just a quick heads up, nominations are open for this year's football content. It's free to enter, and we'd love to see your work submitted. So there you go.
Big up, man. Big up, Puffy, man. Can you win, man?
Yeah, you don't have to vote for us, but we're there. We're there, apparently. So, yes, the link's at the top of the thing, mate. Anyway, Dash, I'm going to move on to the next caller. Anything else you want to add before you leave, my friend? Thank you for joining us.
Nothing really much except like and subscribe, man. And yeah, please stuff in the chat. Big up, mate.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, mate. Well, Dash, I'll speak to you again. You know, you're always there. Whoa, Dash is gone. He's disappeared. Right, couple of more things, and we'll bring in our next caller. Get Rich on. Rich is away at the moment. He's away. Abu Apu, Cushion up and Hayes. Fine, no problem. Gay in. Looks like he's going. Gay was more of an example. Good evening, Foggy Meal Muckinada Debalaya. Hope you are well. Mad Hat, with all due respect, Nick was by despair in early April. I can understand not playing every game, but basically being eliminated from the team will bother anyone. I understand it. I get it. Well, I suppose we'll just have to wait and see, Mad Hatter. Cushion off launch penalty improves English across the league. I don't know on that one. I'm off now. Take care. Don't suffer in silence. Remember, you matter in your own. No, big up, mate. Nico isn't leaving, doesn't want to leave. I think that is a stunt. Most want to see how it is. Also, I won't be wrong, but that's what I think. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. And that's what it is. Right, let's bring in good evening, mate. Now, you called yourself Fake Pep. Go on, hello. Explain to that.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Remember me? I am Guardiola. I have this name for a while.
Yeah. That's why I was wondering why you changed it to Fake Pep.
It's just a little banter. So I don't really have a topic to talk about, but just like a small recap of what happened over the past month, including the Club World Cup. I think we're all disappointed, yeah. We were, thinking maybe we can get this one, compensate for this bad season that we've had. I think we are just not in a good place right now. After the transfers,
the team, club, fans, everyone. What do you mean not in a good place?
Club,
everyone or
club and the players. We're in a weird place right now because, I think, we're not used to this. I don't know if it's a transition phase. It's more of a doubt in everybody's mind, including Pep, I think. It's just a weird situation. And I feel the transfers that we done in the winter boosted our morale just a bit, but there's a lot of work to do.
Right. Well, where do you think the work is needed?
Everywhere, including the goalie. I love Ederson. He's been great for us over the past seasons. It's just, I think it's time to move on. I'm not blaming him for Al Hilal. Mistakes happen. It's just even throughout the season, he wasn't that great, in my opinion. And I'm not blaming him for anything, really. It's just he dropped off. He did deliver a treble, so salute to him. But I think it's time to move on. And I was thinking of options. I can't really pinpoint somebody to replace Ederson. I think he also wants to leave, but nobody actually came in and with a good offer. So it's like he's stuck with us, and we're stuck with him, basically. And honestly, it's not a bad position to be stuck with him. He's not the worst goalie to have. I mean, he's not Onana or somebody else, you know. I would not support the team if we had somebody like Onana, you know, because you know, he's a trash goalie, to be honest. They paid like 50 million for him. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on the goalie, Martin? I don't think that I heard your opinion on this. Do you prefer to keep Ederson? Because now there's a chance for us to do some changes.
If he doesn't sign a contract, I would sell him. Yeah, that would just be me. If he knuckles down and signs a contract and shows real commitment, yes, I would keep him.
Okay.
I think the part of the problem is nobody's actually bidded for him.
Exactly.
The Saudi clubs have not come back.
They're not coming back for him. There was one club, and they've
got a bit of a problem now. And this is the thing is, what you're seeing with PSR now and a lot of people is people are not selling and they're not buying a lot. We're already 7th of July and there's not been a lot of movement. The transfers are now drip feeding through. Because what's happening is, I think what a lot of clubs did, so I'd probably even say 5 years ago, a Tottenham, a West Ham would buy a Kushinoff at 20 million quid. And they would have a year or two in the Premier League at West Ham, Tottenham, and then City move. So what you'd do is you'd buy a Victor Hayes or a Kushinoff or an Oscar, whoever, you would buy them once they've been established. What we're finding out is now, because of the PSR situation and all these rules that are stuck behind homegrown and FIFA rules and UEFA rules and the Premier League rules, what's happening is a lot of the Premier League clubs are now buying the younger players about 2 years earlier than they originally was going to do. It's not like a Jeremy Doku, for instance. They were looking at Doku, but they were going to give him an extra year. Was it Stade Rennes? Was it Stade Rennes? I'm sure it was Stade Rennes he came
I think
from.
it was, yeah.
So, because he hadn't played a lot of minutes. When you actually look at the minutes played, he hadn't played a lot of minutes at Rennes. Kushinoff hadn't played a lot of minutes at Lens. Victor Hayes wasn't wasn't in the thousands of minutes at his club. And what you do is you let them go to the level down, let them build up their career, see if they can do it at the upper echelon. So like what Brighton do. Brighton buy a Baleba, and they would get him going for 3 years, then a top club come and sell him for 100 million. What people are now doing is they're bypassing the Brighton. And what the top clubs are doing is they're buying the Balebas before they get to Brighton. Do you understand what I mean? They're sort of missing a step now because of PSR.
I get it. They're just getting them cheaper.
Yeah. Because what they're basically saying is, why should we pay 130 million for a player when we'll buy him for 20 million and we'll make it either becomes a top player for us or we'll sell him at 100 mil and we'll make the money. What they're trying to do is cut out the middleman now. The market is absolutely screwed right now. The market's screwed.
Yeah, but I think for a club like City, we need to buy from a club like Brighton, because where are they gonna get the minutes? Pep basically is not giving them minutes. Even the well-established ones like Nico G, and don't even get me started on Nico G.
But is he well-established? Is he well-established? This is my thing. Is he well-established?
Yes. He was with Porto, right? Porto.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been playing regularly there.
He's not a Spanish international either.
Does he have to be in the national team?
Generally, that's where City were. City were buying all internationals 3 years ago. Now we're not.
So that's the standard, huh? We have to buy.
That was the standard. That's what I mean. 3 years ago, they were buying. I think Nico G is a very, very good player.
I agree.
I don't think Nico G is at the standard where Rodri and Fernandinho were when they come in. I think he can get there, I think he's done
Mhm.
okay. I think LB said it perfectly earlier. He's done okay.
Yes.
But the trouble
Yeah.
is, okay is not good enough for City anymore, is it? To a lot of people.
I think he did more than okay. Above average. 100% above average for me.
I
What
mean,
do we expect from the
again,
guy? He never
I
played in the
disagree.
Prem.
I think he gives the ball away far too much in midfield.
I can't even think how many minutes did he have. Do you have like a? Do you know the number of minutes he played? Is it 500 or less?
Good evening, Pat. Yeah, last season, he played it. He made 17 appearances.
Pat.
Hey man, what's going on?
Pat was due to come on the thing and co-host from that. I'll just get it up now. He has played Nico
The 600.
Gonzalez. He had played. Why is it giving me Club World Cup? I don't want Club World Cup stats. Why is it giving me Club World Cup
I
stats?
wish he
Right,
played
last
against
season.
Al
So
Hilal.
last
He didn't
season,
play.
he had played 764 minutes in the Premier League, and he played 90 minutes in the Champions League, which we now have 37 minutes in the FA Cup. He made out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out of 14 possible appearances, he started 9 of them. So that's about 60% of the games.
Wait, 60% of the games that he was fit and available?
He started.
Okay. Yeah, but it's still not enough. I think we all agree on that.
So that's what I'm saying. So is he meant to play every game?
Well, wasn't this the plan for him to kind of
No, it was a
shadow
backup.
Rodri until he's back?
No, he's back up to Rodri. That's the thing. He's not Rodri though, is it? He is a backup to Rodri.
Yeah, even when Rodri was out, Nico wasn't playing enough. Anyways, you see, I don't want to even get started on Nico G because that's going to take like an hour to talk about him.
Oh, hey, listen, it is what it is. Like I said, I think it depends what you wanted from Nico G. I think if you wanted him to play every single game, of course you're going to be upset. I agree.
Okay, if I may, let's just change the subject to what's the more pressing matter, in my opinion, is the defense. And okay, so the goalie, we're done with that. We agree that Ederson, maybe it's time for him to go. I don't know about Ortega. It's a 50-50 for me. He's a good second keeper. If he wants to stay, let him stay as a second keeper. So defense, I think we all saw the flaws or like the weakness of our defense against Al Hilal. And by the way, don't think Al Hilal is a strong team. They have good players, but they're a weak club. Honestly, they are. I know how it is in the Saudi league. Yeah, they barely got second. They were able to get second at the last few rounds of the league. So I would think they're like probably like the fourth or third best club in Saudi this season or last season, however you want to call it. It was embarrassing. I didn't even watch the match because it was really late here, and I wanted to watch it. I just saw like the Bernardo Silva goal. I thought, okay, so we're gonna do it, and then I switched off the stream. It was so disappointing when I saw Foden sitting on the ground. I knew that I thought maybe we got knocked out by penalties, but I didn't know that we struggled in the whole match. So when I watched the highlights, I saw how weak the defense is, and Pep kind of changed things in the second half. I don't know what he did, because I watched like the LB review of the game, made me understand what happened, but I would have preferred to watch it firsthand. Ake, Akanji, Man, these two guys, I think it's over for them. I've been calling them out since not just last season, the season before that. Ever since the treble, they dropped off. Akanji, maybe he did okay in not the last season, the one before it, where we won the 4-peat. Akanji was pretty good. Not all the time, though. But come on. We can't settle for those two. Those are two center backs. I'm willing to give up 2 of them and get 1 decent center back. We cannot go next season, like go again with them 2. We need to get rid at least of 1 guy. And I'm hearing that Akanji is more likely for like fans to let them go. I would prefer Aki goes more than Akanji, but obviously an ideal situation with letting them both go. Aki is just not reliable. So many mistakes in him. When I say he's not reliable, I mean he's pretty much always injured. And when he comes back, he plays 1, 2 games, 3 games, and he's injured again. So what's the point? I'd rather have Stones there where I can depend on him, and he's going to be injured in the next few games. And I really don't know why Stones didn't play at all in the Club World Cup. He could have played against Al Hilal because we knew this game was important. Why didn't he play? He was fit, and I think he's a leader as well. So we needed some leadership on the ground, especially when Rodri came out. I don't know what's Pep thinking sometimes, you know. Al Hilal is a weak team. They struggled against this Mexican team, if you know them, Pachuca. They barely got the qualification to the next round, and they couldn't score against Salzburg. Salzburg is like a team full of youngsters. There is not one well-known player over there. Okay, so if you're gonna say that they drew against Real Madrid, fair enough. Real Madrid, I think they started slow, and they didn't have like the stars. Mbappe, I think Jude Bellingham. I'm not. I think he played, yeah, but he didn't play well. Anyways, so I think Al Hilal maybe just shows up against the big teams. But yeah, what a disappointing end to what we were hoping for, a consolation for what happened last season. But isn't it disappointing when you look at the matches coming up? It's Fluminense against Chelsea, and then Real Madrid against who are they playing against again? Real Madrid, PSG.
So I mean, I can only give you my
deserve to be there. Come on.
You know my honest view, and I got slaughtered for it. I wasn't overly bothered about the Club World Cup. I did see it as a bit of a pre-season thing. I'm not bothered about money. I know everyone went into the money thing. We've got enough money, an extra 50 million, and we got 50 million.
It's not the money. It's the pride. It's a World Cup, Alan. It's FIFA. It's FIFA Club World Cup.
But look what happened to Musiala. Musiala's now out for the whole year because of this tournament. I suppose, you know yourself, with Erling Haaland and broke his leg in that tournament, nobody's saying what a great tournament. Everyone would have gone crazy about it.
I mean, let's say if we just reach the final, maybe if we won it, that will be huge for us as fans. That badge, if we get that badge, it stays for 4 years. That's what I heard.
I get that. Do you know what I think it is? And maybe this is more of a UK. In the UK, the Club World Cup's never been a big thing. It's not a big thing in the UK. I do believe it is bigger around the rest of the world. Because in the UK, there's not a big rush for it. There never has been.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know whether it's snobbery or what. I don't know. There just doesn't seem to be a. But the Club World Cup, it's very weird because before City were involved in it, I never watched it. And
didn't you go to Saudi? Didn't you go to Saudi?
No.
To watch City. It wasn't you, right? It was somebody else. It was Big Steve.
Big Steve went.
I did.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah, I went.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah.
And Pat went. And like I said, I think it's just an individual opinion on it. Because for me, Pep was if the club were taking it as serious as they were, why play 3 different formations with 3 different 11s?
It's a very pre-season thing to do.
It is very pre-season thing to do. It is a very pre-season thing.
2 pre-seasons. I mean, the players are going to be so exhausted stepping in into last season. And so,
to be honest,
I just want to say one more thing before I let you go.
There
is one player I just want to chuck in, our minds. His name is Barrios of Atletico Madrid. This guy is phenomenal. If you watched him in a few games, we should keep an eye on him. If Gundogan leaves, maybe him. He's young. He played in the Club World Cup. He was fantastic. He carried the whole midfield for Atletico. So why not? If the price is right, let's go for him. Check him out. Check his highlights.
Depends on because we're over. We've got right now. We've got to sell 5 foreign players.
Gundogan is gone, right? I think he's linked to Galatasaray.
You still got to sell 4 more.
4.
So we've got 34, 33 players in our squad. We've got to get it down to 25.
Right. We were doing the math on the show after we'd signed Turkey, who was the last of the 3, I believe, and then we said if anyone has to come in, it has to be at least 4, maybe 5 coming out, because that's what this second window is going to be defined by. What we do.
And that's why I wouldn't get you. If you get rid of Stones and Ake, that's 2 homegrown players gone.
And we're already skeleton at the moment.
This is the problem City are in. You either end up keeping a Jack Grealish then. If you're gonna, this is what I mean. Someone has to give somewhere, but he's not going to play.
This is why I've said I think Stones and Ake will stay, because I think the quota is so skeleton at the moment. They've got no other choice unless something falls into their lap from another player or another club. Then it may be the way we have to go. And then when you think about it, we'll have to reset and redo this all again in 12 months' time if John Stones goes out the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of important, very critical things happening at the club now over these next 2 months or so. So, while it might cause a little bit of chaos amongst the fan base, I'm curious to see how the club responds to it.
So what will happen to Nunes? Will he stay, you think?
Yeah, potentially. But they don't buy right back, yeah. See, it's weird because I'm just, by the way, we're going to move on, so I do appreciate it. By the way, just to let you know, I'm Guardiola. Later on in the show, I will go through the homegrown and the foreign thing. There was a great tweet about it yesterday, which gives it a full breakdown. And when you see it, you'll realize we're in a bit of a mess, really, when it comes to that. We're in a bit of a mess.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a weird
By the way, I have just had a look at the Al Hilal, and it's your opinion, but they played Trent, Asensio, Courtois, Højsund, Valverde, Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Vinicius Jr. They played Rodrigo.
Vinicius was absolutely, it was so bad.
That's what I mean. They went out with virtually strongest 11, bar Mbappe and one other.
I'm saying Real Madrid were not good that game. So even if you see those players, the whole team wasn't good. I think it's the first game under Xabi Alonso, right? So
yeah, no, that's what I mean. I just
like it's a facade,
For me, I've just parked the Al Hilal. It's done. It was won. Because the week before we beat 4 days earlier, we smashed Juventus 5-2. And for me, it was where I'm critical on it is we played too many systems across each game.
Right.
We messed around too much.
That's what makes it embarrassing.
Our best 11's out there all four games.
Yeah, that's where my pre-season thing comes in. I think, yes, I think the club wanted to win it. If I'm honest with you, I think the fan base would have found it easier if Khaldoon hadn't made that statement, or Pep and Khaldoon had said before we're going in, guys, this is pre-season to us, and we're going to treat it.
Man, this is something I've thought about for a while.
Something should have been put to the fans.
I've thought about this since we got knocked out to Al Hilal, and it kind of took me back to what Pep had said a few months back, where I think he asked the Premier League for permission to try and start our league season a week or two later. When the Premier League said no,
nearly 3 weeks later,
I think he's looked at that and he's gone, well, if they're not going to give me that, I'm just going to go and sort of free hit this competition.
Yeah,
and if we make it to a semi-final or a final, then that might be more on who we played as much as how we played.
You have a point there, but I think it's the wrong move by Pep if he actually did that. Because, yeah, I'd rather win the Club World Cup than, maybe lose a couple of games in the Premier League. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying too, but I think the most crucial thing for this club is to get the Premier League back, and if we can use a lot of this, these performances, whether you see them as good or bad, if it means that we can have the sort of start, because what I've said before, mate, you can see what we're doing. We're trying to draw parallels between now and the way we started 2017. We got a whole new, it was a complete rebuild. We found the right formula. Everything hit the ground running, and we were untouchable for the first 6 months of the season.
Yes.
I'm hoping that we can do the same thing again for the start of this 25-26 season.
See, I'm the opposite.
I want us to hit the ground running.
I'm the opposite. I want us to have a slow start, because last season we had our best start to a league ever.
Yes, Martin.
And
you're
look
right.
how we tailed off. City didn't lose the game till November, remember? Our first league defeat was Bournemouth in November. The trouble was we got the first defeat and then went black.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say to that, though, Martin, is then you have to look at our form for the second half of the season. Because when you think about it, if the Premier League was a calendar year, we're top of the league right now. There's that momentum's going to carry on into August.
Yeah.
So you know what you'll probably have? You'll have the usual. You will have that little drop off in October, November. Not as long as it was in October, November last year. We always have that little slip up for a week or two, and then we go again.
Yeah, it's natural for us.
There's a lot of like, mate. There's how many? You go back and look at these seasons. It's almost scripted. You can almost sort of sense where it's going to happen.
There was always like an injury here or there, or like a, something happening.
Maybe not even an injury. Just we're just going from that area of the first half of the season where it's like, okay, you're sort of just making your way through, just getting your wins. Doesn't really matter how, but you're just getting your wins. And then all of a sudden there's a period where it feels like the whole league starts to get into gear for the rest of the season. And sometimes we catch teams that are ready to hit another gear before we do. The one that really stands out for me was I think it was the last false nine season that we had, 21-22 or something like that. We'd had a decent start to the season. And then remember Crystal Palace came to the Etihad and Patrick Vieira was manager, and they played us off the park. We always have one or two of those games against like a decent team, a respectable team, and then we have a little bit of a drop off, and then that's when we get into gear, and then we go for the rest of the year, or rest of the season.
I think so.
Yeah. No, anything you want to add, Guardiola, before you leave?
I don't think so. I think I took too much time. I would like to.
Don't worry about it.
No, you're right,
Please never worry about it.
Yeah, I just hope that we can do the right signings and, basically offload the players that are no longer good for us. And just hope Pep comes back, That's all I can say. Because right now it's looking shaky, to be honest, after this Al Hilal slip up. But I trust the club, I hope they will do the right things moving forward.
Yeah.
Let's pray.
We've certainly made more right moves than we made wrong moves. So
yes.
That's every reason to be confident.
But that's cheeky, and now we have Viana, so it's a bit different now. But yeah, I still trust the board.
Maybe a different sort of good coming our way, mate.
All right, guys. Well, it's a pleasure to speak with you, and I think I'm gonna head. I need to sleep because it's a bit late here.
No, thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
Cool, mate. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Bye.
See you soon, mate.
See ya.
Right. Do this, then we'll bring in Alf, who's been ever so patient. Thank you. Herbal has gifted 10 channel memberships. Cannot thank you enough, mate. Please say thank you to Herbal. That is amazing. And Linny earlier on, and you know what that means.
More than you believe. More than you believe, I'm happy.
We did that for packs. We've not played it.
Is that getting updated next season?
You've not been playing any of them videos.
Is that getting updated next season?
No.
Okay.
The more it pisses you off, the more I'm keeping.
No. I get over things really quickly, unlike yourself. But The
Oh, whoa!
yeah.
By the way,
I haven't forgotten
this.
this. I haven't forgotten this things. We've just had no bloody memberships pop up in the middle of the day when I'm on.
Just by the way, before we move on, you know the video I did last night? And by the way, thank you for the amazing people. 270 likes. 10 people disliked it. I'm like, you walked in the head, some of you.
That's right. Martin and I watched it with my bingo card, and I got about 9 out of. I got
It
about
honestly
11 out of
tells
12.
you, doesn't it? But it tells you some people are done in the head. 10 dislikes on that video. Like, get a life. Some of you need to seriously get a life. Right, let's bring in Alf, who I have actually disagreed with quite a lot in the past, but we started agreeing more. So I'm going to see where we go with this. By the way, go and show Alf a lot of love. His link is in the description. Show him a lot of love. Big up, mate. How you doing?
A bit mixed right now. Although I must say, I'm watching the women's judos right now, and that's a fact.
Oh, Alf, stop. You're really low. You sound like you're in a submarine, mate.
A drinking straw.
Drinking straw.
Talk through a drinking straw.
Is this better?
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
superb, mate.
Yeah, sorry. My computer updated. Like I went from Windows 10 to Windows 11, and all my settings changed. It's very annoying. My day's been very annoying. I've been fixing all my settings on my PC today. Yeah, but I don't want to talk about Nico Gonzalez because, I mean, I've done 3 hours of streams on him. I'm kind of bored of talking about it now. So I want to talk about a right back because, I mean, there's still discussions about whether Matheus Nunes will be right back. I think for one season, it's okay to have Matheus Nunes as right back. Sorry, 1 second.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. But I think for once...
You shot me.
Why?
Because what you said about Nunes, I didn't think I'd ever hear it out of a City fan. Bigging up Nunes. By the way, there's our channel. You want to go and show that a lot of love. Big up Dash.
I've forgiven Nunes' I've given Nunes plaudits. I think he's been disrespected by Pep Guardiola, honestly, with that comment about being a stupid footballer. I don't think he's great. Listen, he's not great, but I think he's been decent. And it's better that we wait a season and buy a really good fullback than that we now go rush and buy a shit fullback. Like Dumfries, I mean, he's not a bad fullback, but there were links to him. I know they've been denied, but let's use him as our example. If we go get Dumfries here, he's not the type of fullback I think we need. I think we need a fullback who's a bit more defensive. And that's not what Matheus Nunes is. But if you're not going to get that fullback now for the long-term future, you might as well wait a season to go get him. Livramento, if you do go and get him, which I very strongly doubt, then sure, go get Livramento. But there's a lot of fullbacks right now that I've looked at. I've got 6 English homegrown fullbacks. I think we need to get a homegrown right back, probably. I've got a list of 6 homegrown right backs that I'm all looking at, that I'll be watching next season. But Livramento in them, but that's more hopium than anything. But I think Matheus Nunes has improved a lot in that right back role. I think Man City fans are too harsh on him sometimes. And I think if you can get a midfield that's a little bit less old, that can run a bit more, you can have something there. I said earlier in this season, last season, I guess. I don't even know if it's last season or this season anymore. But I said earlier last season that Bernardo Silva and Matheus Nunes have a very good relationship. I mean, I keep going back to this. You remember what game was it? I believe it was the Bournemouth game where he got an assist late on. If you remember, no, it was Everton. If you remember that game, Bernardo Silva instructed Matheus Nunes when to make his run, and then Matheus Nunes made his run and got the ball from Bernardo and got the assist. So I think they've got a good relationship there. I think people are way too harsh on him, and I think they played well together. And when they weren't playing together, I think they both played less well. So I don't mind Nunez staying for last season, especially since it looks like Bernardo will be staying until his contract expires next year, I believe.
Who's?
Bernardo. This is 2026, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, next summer.
Yeah.
He's out of contract.
There's a lot of players out next year. And I think that's what they're potentially waiting on.
Mm.
I think we've got.
And there's even more in 2027.
Is it 5? There's Stones right now. Stones, Edison, Bernardo, McAtee, and there's somebody else. There's quite a lot. And then I think there's 4 players in 2027. Ake, Grealish, and there's 2 others. That's the thing. We're in a very not ideal situation. And this is something I have always said, despite people saying I never criticise. I think we've planned poorly in the last couple of years. We've planned poorly. And this is, sadly, some of the consequences of doing that. If you're willing to give out huge contracts to people and not play them anymore, and then what, sell them 2 years later, well, you're not always going to get a buyer for them. Maybe you should have took the 25 mil that you got offered for Edison last summer, because 25 mil is better than £0 of what you're getting in 12 months. I don't know. This is the thing: it's like the Bernardo thing. Everyone's going to sell Bernardo. Problem is, Bernardo had a release clause, and nobody came at the release clause. Nobody bidded at 50 million quid.
Which is remarkable, because we know he's worth more than 50 million.
But what are we saying? We've got to sell everyone at 10 million quid so we have to buy everyone at 70 and 80 million quid, and we've got to sell everyone at 10 million quid. Well, we're not going to make much money moving forward playing that game. We're going to end up losing money.
I mean, Bernardo is captain now, so there's no point in arguing about selling Bernardo. He's captain. You remember when Wayne Rooney was captain for Man United, and like that season they won the Europa League, but he was on the bench for most of that season. I think if Bernardo sell, and I'm not saying he needs to be on the bench all season, but if he's on the bench for a large part of the season and just a captain on the bench and comes off the bench and doesn't impede on like Sherky's minutes too much, for example, it's not that big of a deal. But that's one player. Then you have Gundogan. He is linked right now to Galatasaray. They pay big wages, by the way, Galatasaray. Osimhen is on 200K, something like that, at Galatasaray. So they pay big wages. So I think Gundogan may go to Galatasaray. I'm not certain, but I think it's the most likely of the old players to leave. Kovacic, I mean, he did get that annoying injury. But I still think he's a quality player, but not Man City quality. But I still think there's a quality in there in him. But we have to get rid of not homegrown players. So the immediate ones I'm looking at is Gundo and Kovacic, because that's the easiest. Now, you can say Mateus Nunes. I see a lot of people say Mateus Nunes. But if you get rid of him, you need to get a right back. And then I say, okay, so you're going to put Rico Lewis right back. Okay, fan base doesn't like that. Okay, so you're going to buy Livramento. Okay, fan base doesn't like that for some reason. So you're going to buy Hinselwood, which is a name I throw out there. Fan base doesn't like that because they don't know who that is. So that's a bit of the problem, I think, right now. We've got too many homegrowns. Sorry, not homegrowns, sorry. We have to clear out the bench first. Like, I don't think we'll make any other signings. And if Nico G leaves, like, listen, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm bored of talking about it. But if Nico G leaves, it may be because of a homegrown thing.
I don't think Nico G is going to leave, and I will. A couple of things I want to share. I just want to get a couple of things up, and this has come from a couple of really good people who would know. I'm just going to share my screen. Danielle, I promise you we're coming to you, mate. Just share my screen, and I'll show you. City Extras tweet. So this was, I don't know why Grealish we keep saying. By the way, yeah, Finley Burns has gone to Reading on loan. I don't know if you know. Gundogan's in Bodrum at the minute. You all wanted to know that one, didn't you? Oh, he's going where I'm going there. Right. So there you go. Simon Bajowska. Breaking Nico Gonzalez expected to put back for training in Manchester at the end of July. Manchester City are not looking to sell him. And there was also, it was on the Not in My Lifetime podcast from Sam Lee earlier on. Where is it? There was something, I can't remember where it was. I will find it. But there was a thing from Sam Lee as well that Sam Lee has heard that there is no intention to sell Nico Gonzalez either. I think this is Mendes playing Mendes games.
I mean, that doesn't tell us anything, though, because intention to sell is not the same as like intention not to sell. If you get what I mean, there is no intent to sell, sure, but if an offer comes in for Nico G and it's good enough, I think with the way he's not playing at the moment, I think he will go, especially because George Mendes, he doesn't like when the players he represents don't play because their value goes down when that happens. And George Mendes, he needs to keep collecting those, whatever they're called, the awards for the best agent. He likes collecting those. So when a player he represents loses value, he throws a temper tantrum. And that's what happens when they haven't played in a while.
That was the bad thing about getting involved with Mendes like we have in the last 12 months. That was always my worry, because I know what Mendes is like. This is what he did at Wolves, but on a very smaller scale. He went into Wolves, took all his clients into Wolves, and 12 months later, half his clients were shipped back out of Wolves again. Mendes, an agent only makes money on two things, selling or renewing. That's it.
And you can sell more than you can renew.
Yeah.
An agent makes...
my brother used to know an agent years ago on a smaller scale at City. I won't mention, well, I will, Scott McGarvey. Someone know who Scott McGarvey is. He was an agent, used to drink in my when City were down in the doldrums. Not like we are now. It was, and he said I only made money when the player renewed a contract or moved. An agent, and he said it, agents don't want a player sitting there for 10 years. They hate it because they make no money out of them players. You get nothing.
These agents must hate Haaland.
But this is why...
I'm just saying agents hate when players have a legacy at a club.
Yeah, I mean, that's why KDB represented himself at some point, isn't it? Because these agents, they also talk into the ears of the players. Like, listen, Nico G is not a Man City fan. If he's got George Mendes whispering in his ear, Bayern München need a 6, you'll play a lot of minutes there. When Godfrey comes back, you won't play. If George Mendes is saying all of this to Nico G, he might be listening. And who else reported that Nico Gonzalez might
be? Not told? This is what amazes me. We knew he was a backup.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the shock is all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The shock is that it's happening suddenly when he's not played in the club. I think he played maybe a few minutes in the Juventus game.
He started one of the games. He started against Alain.
It's a convenient story. That's what it is. They've just looked at a player that had minimal minutes. The minimal minutes has not been at the club for a particularly long time, and it's easy to create a story out of it. But in my opinion, because if you're going to talk about based on minimal minutes in a competition, then why aren't they talking about Oscar Bob? Like they should be making a story about Oscar Bob going out online.
You might have
anything about that, but I'm just putting the lack of minutes together and just saying, well, it just becomes too convenient.
Well, does that mean there's a story about Kushinov tomorrow? Is he off out because he's not played since the end of March?
Could be.
No, let's go back.
He's been a slow news week. It could be.
No, but if we're talking about Nico G, I'll just call him Nico. If we're talking about Nico, he's a player who's come into Man City. He's played really well, I think. He's had his poor games like the Everton game, but he's also had really good games like the Newcastle game. He's played these games, and players, they have egos, especially the good ones. So you've got agents like George Mendes, by allowing Nico Gonzalez to get down to get as little minutes as he got, Okay, it's a convenient story maybe, but that's a story that agents like George Mendes run with. They don't want these players to stay. They will put in these players their mind. You can get more minutes over here. You can be better over here.
I mean, I was bringing these up now. This is my thing that I need to, maybe I need to get this in my own head. Nico J, debut against, so he played nearly every game, United game, and Pep admitted he made a fault there. Pep said, I trusted some players too much. He said that afterwards. There was an actual quote he made up. It was on, Johnny mentioned it on Typical City earlier. He did bring up the quote. And then Palace, he was back in. Everton, he played 78 minutes. Now, against Everton, he was poor. Because I remember watching the game. The only reason I know it, because I did a report on the game for a trial that I did. I'm doing a trial for summer, and I had to do a match report on the Everton game. That's how I remember. That's where Nico G's gone so vividly in my head on the Everton game. He gave the ball away a lot. And that's the big no-no in Pep's mind. So since then, I will admit, then he got 1 minute. Then he was the next 3 games. It was only 3 games, may I add. But the other side of the coin is, and I think you mentioned this on your channel as well, Alf, Gundo was scoring and assisting them by that time. Gundo was actually scoring a lot of goals and assisting at that point. I don't think that helped him.
Yeah, then but the thing is, it's the FA Cup final, I think. That's the drawing line. He didn't even get off the bench in the FA Cup final, which I think was just wild. Especially as, like, we didn't have the 6.
Echeverri on. That's just, this is what I mean with Pet. He threw Echeverri in. No one had him making his debut in an FA Cup final.
Making your debut in an FA Cup final is also wild. And I mean, if you're Nico Gonzalez, you don't really care about other players, do you? Because again, if you're looking from Nico Gonzalez's perspective, you don't care that Echeverri got his debut. You care that you did not play the final. Like Pep can say, I made a mistake after Man United by not playing him, but he did it again in the FA Cup final. He didn't play him a lot in the Club World Cup. When he brought on a substitute in Al Hilal game, he brought on Rodri, not Nico Gonzalez. Rodri on an injury. Well, coming back from an injury, just coming back from an injury. That's where, as Nico Gonzalez, you started worrying about your role, especially with an agent like George Mendes whispering in your ear, hey, Bayern München could choose us 6 or whatever the club he's talking about.
I'm going to be honest with you, Alf, and I said this earlier on, the problem is, this is what the backup to Rodri has to contend with. He knows he's the backup. And then what made it worse is you're buying Reinders.
Well, he doesn't play as 6, so not in my opinion.
But Nico Gonzalez is predominantly an 8. He's not a 6.
Yeah.
So then your 8 spot's taken. So this is, I think, this is the problem. This is why I said for a long time of buying a backup to Rodri is so hard. It is unreal. Because I don't think you can just go out and buy a backup to Rodri that easy. Unless you buy.
But you have to get 3 players in 2 positions and rotate them constantly, and then have 1 youth player who can come in the other position, or who can come in to fill like the extra gap. So I guess that will be O'Reilly, or I guess Lewis if he goes into midfield next season.
But that's what I'm saying. Someone has to go. Somebody has to go.
That's why it's important to have versatile players.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm just looking now, Kushinov, because Kushinov, he stopped playing.
He stopped playing because of that 10 games, right? Because if he played 10 games, we would have to pay extra money. That's why he stopped playing. Because he got exactly 9 games.
This is the problem, because in the Premier League he played. But this is my thing on Kushinov, and I think Kushinov's going to be an absolute superstar. He's only played 504 minutes in the Premier League. It's not a huge sample size. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not too worried about Kushinov personally. I'm not too worried about that.
I mean, I get it. I get why people are a bit worried. I can't even say it's the World Cup though, Al, because he's not getting in the Spain squad on the regular. Maybe he wants to. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up actually because there is World Cup coming around.
Top, mate, Kushka.
And I mean, I keep going back to this, but this is where I think for Nico Gonzalez, if I was Nico Gonzalez, this is where I would take the problem. You're trying to get into the Spain 11, presumably, for the World Cup, and you don't really get a lot of playing time in the Club World Cup. You get a bit, but not a lot. And then in the Al Hilal game, instead of you coming off the bench, it's Rodri, just back from an ACL. And now you're looking at next season and you're thinking, I'm not even going to be able to cover for this injured Rodri. I'm going to be competing with Rodri as if he's not injured. That's what I think might be becoming the problem, because he's going to want to play minutes if he wants to play in the World Cup. And I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that he's going to leave 100%, because none of the reports say that. So the reports say he may leave. What I am saying, it's very poor to allow these doubts to come into a player's mind. And the way you allow those doubts to come is by playing Gundogan over them in an Al Hilal game. That's how you allow those doubts to start creeping in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Alvin. This is just my opinion, and I hear what you're saying, everyone else does. I get the Nico G frustration. And I hear you saying Rodri's coming on, but this is going to sound really harsh, this, but I'd rather get Rodri back to full speed than I would worry about Nico J. Because how does Rodri get back to speed unless you play him?
Well, not if you play him too much. If you play him too much...
The trouble is, what's too much? By the way, this is where I will criticise Pep. Pep, for me, should have stuck at the 45 minutes he agreed on in that game. When we played Juventus and Rodri sits in the dressing room and goes, please, sir, I'm okay. Please let me go for another 15 minutes. Pep Guardiola should have said, no, we agreed 45. You are doing 45. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Pep needs to make agreements, clear agreements with Rodri. This is how much you're going to play. This is how we're going to manage your injury. And he's going to do this with the doctors, of course. And if you do that, maybe you can get Nico G in this. Maybe you can get Nico Gonzalez involved and Rodri and the doctors. And you're going to say, listen, you're going to play this many minutes. You're going to get substituted off at this minutes, no matter the circumstances, or you're not going to play this game, no matter the circumstances. For example, a weaker team in the Champions League. And there's no ifs, buts, or maybes, and then you stick by it. When you make an agreement, 45 minutes, and then suddenly you change your opinion on that agreement randomly mid-game, I mean, I think that was an atrocious decision to make. And also, I just don't think he should be I just don't think that he should be the first option off the bench. I really don't. Not right now. If this was like 3 months down the line, where presumably Rodri would be a lot more match fit already, because there's a difference between fitness and match fitness, of course. If Rodri was a lot more match fit, I don't mind him coming off the bench immediately. But you're bringing him off the bench, and he played only against Juventus, really, any notable minutes. So these are things here. You need to make agreements, and you need to stick with them. And in anything in life, you need to stick with your agreements. In school, you need to stick to your schooling contract. And in football, if you're coming back from an injury, you need to stick with your agreements on your rehabilitation. And you can't get too excited to come back too quickly, because a lot of people overestimate their bodies, including footballers. And they need to be told that clearly. They need to be told that don't overestimate your body, because you'll regret it. I know it's difficult to find a backup for the Ballon d'Or winner. I mean, Barcelona could never do it for Messi. So it's difficult to find a backup for these players. But you have to try. You have to try, and you have to try to get them minutes somehow, which is why you have to get these versatile players. And I think Nico G is a versatile player, or decent player. I'd even say he can be elite next season if he develops well. But you need to capture their trust. And when they have agents like George Mendes, it's difficult to capture their trust because that's agents
that worries me. The Mendes thing was a red flag to me. I think he is a super agent and he's great, but he's after number one.
Listen, Martin, because clearly you are Sheikh Mansour in disguise. I've got a favor to ask of you. Can you go in for Adon Yashari?
Apparently, I am Sheikh Mansour.
Go sell Nico Gonzalez. Go buy Adon Yashari for 10 million extra because these AC Milan bench purchases are starting to annoy me, bruv. They literally are bidding $500,000 extra each time.
Between me and you know this, we're not. We looked at Yashari, but the problem is he doesn't. He wants to play football, and he knows he isn't going to play football at City. So why would he leave?
This is what I wanted to talk to Alf about because I think a few weeks ago you had a chat.
Danielle, we're going to bring you on in 2 minutes. I'm going to bring Danielle in now. In fact, I'm going to bring Danielle and Sports talking together.
Alf, you had a chat about this on evening, guys. Had a chat about this on Pat's channel a few weeks ago, and after you did, I started watching a little bit of Jashari's performances, and I've got to say, he does look impressive. He looks like something we could have for the future when Rodri eventually starts to slow down. Do you think there is a possibility that we could see him at City in the future? And I kind of understand why he wouldn't go straight from Bruges either, because he wouldn't get the game time that he deserves. Because you regard him as a quality player, right?
Yeah, it's
unlikely. Do you think AC Milan would be quote unquote like a good stepping stone for him? So like maybe in 2 or 3 years.
Look, Alf, look what you've done now, Bevo. I am skint. I'm going on holiday in 10 days. No, I'm skint. No money. Pat, can you run for 5 minutes? I've just got to jump to make a phone call. Danielle, Total Sports, just jump in when you can.
Can you hear me?
Do you see this as maybe something that we're looking at in a couple of years' time when Rodri maybe starts to slow down a little bit, and we are looking for his eventual successor? That maybe they'll look at that and they'll say, given the business that we've just done with Milan for Reinders, and who knows, maybe we'll do more business for other players in the future too. But do you see a possibility of him maybe playing there? Because from what you said and from what I've seen, I could definitely see a potential, a potentially very good player there for playing for City in the future.
It's unlikely because he's an AC Milan fan. He grew up as an AC Milan fan. There's pictures of him as a kid going to San Siro, watching AC Milan games, and he said before the start of the season, or before the end of the season, I'm here to stay. And his mentality completely switched up when AC Milan came in for him, probably because he wasn't expecting it. And now he's talking about, I only want AC Milan, this and that. And he's making it very difficult for Bruges to negotiate because he's refusing to go to training camps. He's refusing to go to friendlies. He desperately wants AC Milan. It doesn't matter how bad AC Milan is. He grew up as an AC Milan fan. He wants to go there. Maybe in a few years, if he's played for AC Milan and thinks, okay, I've done my dream, now I want to go win trophies somewhere, win on Champions League somewhere, maybe then, but that depends on how good AC Milan is when we go in for him. And it will be very expensive. I think I think he could become one of the top 5 midfielders in the world. I think he's the most talented player I've ever seen in the Belgian league, and I've been watching since 2006.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so unless he changes his personal preferences, we may not see him in a City shirt then. No,
probably not.
Yeah. All right, guys. Total Football. Good evening, mate. Hope you're doing well.
Not too bad. How are you guys?
Yeah, doing all right, mate. Doing all right. Yeah, you just out and about at the moment, eh?
Yeah, I'm just literally heading back home now.
Okay, no worries.
Good
stuff.
I mean, interesting topic of conversation with this whole Nico Gonzalez thing, which has just popped up out of the blue, hasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always been skeptical from the moment it was first released. I mean, I think we said on Daps's channel a couple of days ago that we found out, I think one of the original sources for it was actually a guy who does journalism on Empire of the Cops. So take that with a pinch of salt, I must say. But Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I thought, as I said to you earlier before, Alf, I just thought it just sort of creates a narrative based off what we've seen the last few weeks. So there's been limited game time, and I think a World Cup year and maybe a little bit of influence from his agent and things like that can obviously be a factor too. But I don't know. It just, for me, it just wouldn't make any sense. Like, why would we let a signing that we made 6 months ago out the door when we've got basically his nearest competition, or two of his nearest competition, are a 31 and a 35-year-old midfielder? It just doesn't make any sense in terms of the way the club operates. So for me, it's just a very, very silly way in which the club would want to do something like that. And I just think it would be really against character for them to do something like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing I want to ask you all is, A, how realistic is it that it ends up happening? And B, given the circumstances of how it happened, given the fact he's only been here for 6 months, what can we actually get for him in terms of transfer fee? Because, again, if it's him wanting to move out, that already brings down his value.
It wouldn't be a transfer fee. It would be a loan.
That's true.
It would most likely be a loan with an option to buy, but I think the loan would be extended, contingent upon what takes place at City. There is a playing time concern. And I don't know if you remember when we bought Laporte, he wasn't knocking on the door of the national team either. When players make big moves to certain clubs, if you're already knocking or you're at the national team level, then that's even great. It's a cherry on top in validation. If you're a player that's playing, let's say, at a tier below, if you're at the under 23 and you have aspirations on playing for the national team, there is a politics that's also involved that does help you get a call-up. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll start, but it is a call-up. And then if you impress the manager, you're then further validated by being allowed to get continuous call-ups and stays. And I think that was something, at least from what I've heard, because I spoke to one of the scouts that now is at Porto, but he was at Benfica, where I have my information. And that was the gamble that the player took, because like Ralph said, when he was at Barcelona, he went from being a rotation player to a starter to then a rotation player. Part of it was injury, but then also part of it, the players that came in and the manager felt better to start them. So he leaves, he goes to Porto, and he was starting. Now, he was on a decent run, wasn't blowing it, but he was on a decent run. And now you take the gamble, you get the call from City. Okay, maybe you could be the Roger replacement and likely the number 8 or a starter, a high-level starter for that. Nobody knew that Roger was going to be ahead of schedule the way that he was, to where he was going to get minutes ahead of him. I don't think they saw Turkey 6 months ago. And then lastly, I think what was said in January was different than what was played out 6 months later. I think signing and having an understanding that players will be going out, 6 months later, those players are still not out in the degree that they are. So now it makes things a little bit harder. The manager going into a tournament that he wants to win is going to play those that he knows better. A young player, you have to impress in training, impress in the chances, and oh yeah, there's now a logjam for your position, and the guy that you were going to play for injury is ahead of schedule. So his camp sees that, he sees that. I mean, they would be idiots not to put this feeler out there, which is what they've done and what Martin alluded to earlier. This is what Mendes does. When you go into business with Jorge Mendes, this is what he does. Sometimes you will be used as a pawn to where he wants to get a certain player moved, but he can't get the clubs to, let's say, nudge. And so he might dangle a player from another club to facilitate the transfer to go through. He did that with PSG, by the way, when they tried to get João Neves. PSG wanted João Neves, but Jorge Mendes said, well, you're not going to get him just like that. You're going to have to buy Gonçalo Ramos. And so Gonçalo Ramos was the first buy. And then you saw the transfer fee that was agreed up front for João Neves came in a lot lower than what was initially put out there in the press. Why?
It was like 40 million euros less.
Yeah, 40 million less. Yeah. But PSG did that, but again, it's like, oh, it's a coup. but understanding that they didn't want to be perceived, at least to their fan base, but also in the media, for what they overpaid for Gonzalo Ramos and then overpaying for João Neves, that now with the add-ons, it's more than a 40 million buy, and it worked out. If it didn't work out, if he would have been, quote unquote, just a 40 million buy. But because it worked out, and with the add-ons, I think it's like now north of like 70 million. So this is what he does. He will use you, and sometimes you won't even know that you're being used until the other move materializes. But there is concern, at least when I spoke to the scout, Nelson Oliveira, that is the concern with Nico G right now, is just not knowing who you're going to play who you're going to play over. Because if Rodri finds form, you're not starting over him. If Reiner finds form, chances are you're not going to start over him. You'll be rotated. And then there's Bernardo, there's Kovacic, there's John Stones that also tends to play in the midfield in that position, because let's be honest, the manager still rates him highly. And then Foden and Turkey may do shifts in there too. Where are you going to play as an out-and-out starter with aspirations with the World Cup within a year? That becomes problematic. Now, the good thing that City did do, it's a long contract, they 3x'd his wages, so the player's satisfied. So when he made that risk move, they compensated him for it, well and above. But now the question is, if you're not going to have the minutes, where are you going to go? Because it's not going to be a buy. His contract is too long to be amortized. And the way the market is right now, no club is going to offer for that price, knowing very well that the player currently needs to rebuild his value. So it's going to have to be a loan, at least for a year, or then a second year, and then with an option to buy. But we kind of,
Danielle, I'd say obligation, because if you're going to send him out that soon after signing him, the club would want it to be an obligation. Because if we feel that he's fallen out of favour, or if he wants to go to another project, then we want to try and make sure that we get our money's worth for it. So you don't want to be like juggling with loans, and then all of a sudden, you left with this player again who may not want to be part of the club, but may want to go to another club. I'd rather force our hand to make sure that the club that we were going to loan him to would actually pay a decent amount one way or another.
But the other thing I wanted to ask, sorry, just on the back of the point that you just made there, Daniel, is that would City be happy would they be willing to accept him going out on loan, given, I mean, obviously we have to factor in, would they want an immediate replacement or not? And if they do, then surely they need a fee there and then, don't they?
I don't know. I think that's what we're trying to figure out, because I kept putting in the chat to Martin, the market is not where it was 6 months ago. The Saudi clubs are not spending actually the way that they were, not just in the forwards and the midfields, but even with the goalkeepers, to the point that it's had an impact even on Ederson's market. And oh yeah, by the way, who's a Mendes client, and you didn't accept the big move from last season. So Mendes is in no hurry to try to do you any favors. If anything, he may be trying to do a Saudi club a favor to then say, here, I did you guys something, now come and get my guy who's due the move that I promised him. Will he do it? I don't know, which is very similar to Diego Costa.
Danielle, sorry to jump in, another name that we talked about the other day. I'll come back to this in a minute, Al, for you. This guy, and you're all wondering, why is Victor Hayes' name up there when we're talking about midfield?
I know where you go with this.
There was a quote Pep mentioned a while back from Pep. Victor Hayes, the plan was to maybe have a bit of a go in EDS, and he becomes the John Stones overlord, as in the centre back that can invert into midfield.
That's a problem. And let me tell you something that the scout told me as well, Martin, in this conversation. He said, if you want to see who the manager trusts on the team, look at outside of the center backs, look at the midfield and who he trusts to go and do build-up play from the center backs when he wants to retain control. And he said, look at the City team, who is the one player, the two players that more times than not go back or drop back with the center backs to help build up play. Bernardo and Gundogan. How many times when Nico G did have the opportunity was he dropped back deep to help with the build-up play? He wasn't given that option. more times than not, it was another player not named him. It was either Bernardo, Gundogan, or Kovacic, which means, like you alluded to, the level of trust that Pep has in him is not there. The part that he turns the ball over, and sometimes we even have to be careful when we say that, is that turning the ball over is not a bad thing. It'll happen during a game. But Pep doesn't like when you turn the ball over in sequence when you're trying to build up play, because maybe he sees something where a certain movement, a certain player needs to go to shift the defense out of position. And that 1 to 2 seconds where you don't do that causes the whole sequence and build-up to be affected, fairly or unfairly. And I think that's something that we've seen, which again, you go to the Club World Cup and Bernardo even being the captain, Bernardo's been on the ball a lot. Not just in midfield, but even when he's dropped back deep, which again, if you're Nico G, good luck trying to overplay that trust, because it's there and it's earned, and the manager is warranted to do so as well.
Yeah, right. I'm just going to, because we are going to end in a minute. A couple of things I just want to point out, just so everyone is aware. I just want to make sure everyone knows. A couple of just the quick announcements. Don't forget, on the 9th of August, it has now been arranged at the Renzo Barbera Stadium. Manchester City will play Palmero from the CFG in the Anglo-Palmertanian Trophy. You know what? You may see me out there. And also, we've had a quote today, an email today from the Football Content Creator Awards. Link is in the channel. I will just link it as well in the bio tomorrow. If you do want to vote for us, you can vote for us in there. I don't know how it fully works because I didn't know you could just vote, but I have had an email and a DM off them to say, please put your hat into the ring. I didn't think we were known to be like that, but hey ho, big up to the people in the chat and the world and the community for someone has voted for us somewhere. So big up to yourselves. Thank you so much. A couple of other things as well, just to housekeep that I just want to show. And I've now actually got it. And because I wanted to show this earlier on. And this may show you a bit of the, not problem, but a situation we are in. I was trying to find this earlier on. So I'm a guy called Satai. I do follow him, and he follows me. I'm just going to bring it up. Where is it? Right, here we go. Just so people can fully understand where we are at with our squad numbers right now, because it's actually quite scary. So here it is. Man City's homegrown problem explained. So what are registration rules? Each competition has their own set of rules, so the teams can register players. In case of the Man City, we'll be looking at the two biggest competitions, the Premier League and the Champions League. The Premier League rules are very, very straightforward and simple to follow. 25 maximum squad over the age of 21, 17 non-homegrown, up to 8 homegrown. Should a club not be able to register 8 homegrown players, the said slot has to remain empty or vacant. People abroad, if you want to call it that way. So we can qualify to be a homegrown player according to the Premier League. A homegrown player is a player that has to be trained in a club in England for 3 years before the age of 21, regardless of any loans. In the UCL, this is where it gets complicated for us and other clubs. Each club may register a maximum of 25, where there have to be a minimum of 8 homegrown. But now this is where the homegrown becomes more important than the non-homegrown players in the UCL. A minimum of 4 have to be club trained. So trained at Manchester City for the 3 years. Under 21 player who's spent at least 2 years at the club, 2 years, can be registered to the B list. So who qualifies? That is our non-homegrown squad. Haaland, Diaz, Bernardo, Rodri, Reinders, Mamouche, Gabardio, Reine Nore, Cherky, Nunes, Nico Gonzalez, Edison, Ortega, Sabinho, Doku, Kushinov, Victor Hayes, Kovacic, Gundo, Akanji, Echeverri. Perone will come off that list when his deal to Coma becomes permanent or is loaned. I think that's going to be another loan, if you want me to be honest with you. Right, this is our problem. Associated trained. John Stones, Nathan Aké, Bettinelli, Grealish and Phillips. You are going to look at losing 3 of 5 of them. If you want to sell a Stones or a Grealish and a Phillips, which is what the likelihood is, you are stuck with only 2 association trained players. Just 2. Club trained, Phil Foden, Oscar Bob, James McAtee, James Wilson Esprand. 2 of those are going to go. McAtee and Wilson Esprand. Bob, Jamal Simpson-Pouza, Nico O'Reilly and Rico Lewis go on the under-21 B squad. So as you can see, the squad is so bloated that we have got to cut 5 non-homegrown players and 1 associated trained players. Look at the problem we have got here on associated trained and club trained. It's not the Premier League that becomes the problem. It's the Champions League where our problem becomes. So this is why you're not going to like this. Why potentially Rico may be getting a contract. This is not as easy as people are thinking it is. I know we need to get rid of players. I agree. But if you get rid of Stones, Ake, Grealish, Phillips, you have got 1 associated trained player, which is your 3rd choice goalie.
Which is why we need to buy a homegrown blade if we're going to buy anyone.
Yeah, this is why the Livermental and Gibbs White stuff was actually, yeah, let's do it. There are method behind madness. I know people are not big on Premier League or homegrown players and they don't rate them. There's an old saying, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
I don't know how realistic this one is. But let's just say now, somehow, some way, the Nico thing happens. He ends up leaving for whatever it may be, 35, 40 million. Maybe looking at someone like Adam Wharton. I know it may not be easy.
That's what they may do. This is the other side of the coin that we may end up doing. Maybe it's not an Adam Wharton. Like I said, maybe it is Gibbs White.
Gibbs White and swap deal.
Yeah, and plus we're still getting linked with Eze for some weird, which obviously may not be apparent to us.
Yeah, that is a weird one.
Yeah, but it could just be because desperate needs, desperate measures. We just need a homegrown player.
Yeah. So that's and you know what? Listen, I personally think Nico Gonzalez will remain here. Is he here long term? Not if Mendes has anything to do with it. Yes, Ake is as well. Sorry, I did miss Ake. It's and the trouble. It's so complicated because Kushinov and Savic Semenyo count in one level in the Premier League because they're not 21, but in the UCL they go somewhere else. Yeah, Kushinov's still 20.
Martin, question. Assuming
I don't know why UEFA have this rule. Please, someone ask UEFA why this rule is like this.
No, this is a good rule by UEFA because, listen, UEFA brought in this rule because clubs were neglecting their academies. This rule is forcing clubs to pay attention to their academies. So it's a good rule, but it's a fucking mess when you don't pay attention to it for a long time.
Yeah, and we haven't.
Well,
Go on, Daniel.
That was my question. Under the rules, would Spike Brits fall? Where would he fall into that for UEFA registration? Because I don't even think he's 18 just yet. So
no, that's the other thing. He's not 18, so I think it only counts when you're 18 or 21. It's very weird. I don't know. I seriously don't.
No, Spike Brits is.
There's rules and sub rules, and then sub rules and sub rules. Yeah.
Spike Brits is 18 already.
I think he can go to the B squad then, Danielle. From my understanding, he can go into the B list.
The other thing is, when do you have to register the squad by for the Champions League?
Well, from now, I'm presuming going pretty soon, if not now.
Because I know Nico O'Reilly turns 21 around October time, doesn't he? So again,
it's before that. It's before that.
Right,
before that. I think it's when your window's shut in your in your situation. It's like Kushnoff, even though he's born in a leap year, he doesn't count, but he is going to count next year because they've always also again got to think Kushnoff and Savino will go into that over 21 squad in the 25-26 season. So you're only, in essence, kicking the can down the road for 12 months.
There's only one player that could save us in the situation, then I suppose. Taylor Howard, Bellis. It may just have to be that. May just have to go down that route, mate. Just bring him back.
We worked out the other day the actual 11 we could put out for an EDS. We could actually challenge for top 4 in it. You know, if you stuck all our EDS players we've sold, you could have a goalie at Trafford. You know, you could have Trippier at right back, a Taylor Howard, Bellis, and someone else at centre back. You had, who else did we have? We had Lavia as the CDM, Cole Palmer as the number 10. We were like, you know, Morgan Rogers, Liam Delap up top.
Sancho somewhere in there.
Sancho on the right if you wanted to play that game.
Brahim Diaz.
Martin, I don't understand how CJ Egan-Riley last season in the championship played center back and right back and was the starter and had a very good year. If he's good enough for Marseille, how was he not even called to see whether he'd be interested in playing right back? Because he's right there. That would have fulfilled your homegrown number that you need. Why aren't those sort of players explored, or even like a Max Aaron? If CJ Egan-Riley has a good season in France, I do think he'll be on the Gibbs White camp where it'll be like their first random call up to the England squad just to see where they may be in future plans. But under normal conditions, aren't those the sort of players that we want to bring in early, that they have a long-term future? Like, I don't understand how academy players that do well just aren't even brought back at all.
No, it's crazy. Well, not only that, did you know Ollie Einer's now signed a deal at Forest?
Oh, damn.
Yes. I saw that, and again, that was also my hunch on why we hadn't gone in for him, or why you didn't hear a lot of rumors, because the player, he had like a year option left, why it was fairly quiet, and that tells you right there in a nutshell. I'll tell you the other thing, the Rico contract, again, to the folks that I've spoken to, we make it hard on ourselves to sometimes sell players because of the hard negotiations that we sometimes do with certain clubs. Bernardo, in his last renewal, we inserted a release clause. Again, no offers came, but I think if it was today and Bernardo was maybe 3 years younger, I think clubs would actually be willing to negotiate more with the release clause. I think Rico, if he signs that extension and if he stays, or even if he's loaned out and a club decides to come in on him, I wonder if that's what we're going to start seeing with Viana and company, with higher release clauses as a starting point of negotiation versus just losing the players on some relative modest amount and then banking on the sell-on clause. Because that was something that, again, Nelson told me that Sporting and Viana are very big on, and that's the release clause, especially with the academy players. Tie them in, the ones that you can identify early, tie them up, put a high release clause in there, integrate them, and then if you're going to flip them, you at least have a baseline of the minimum that you're hoping to expect when a buyer comes in when you start negotiations, versus doing all that back and forth weaseling negotiations to see what's the price that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, we're going to wrap up there. I want to say massive thank you to everyone. No trip to Palmero for Martin, so we don't need another pointless meltdown. Oi, I may be going. I want to say big up to Total Football.
We know what happens on away days when you attend.
Danielle and Alf, thank you for joining us. We'll get you back on again. Always a pleasure, never a chore. There will be a space in about 20 minutes, so come and join us. Take care, boys. Alf's link is in the description now. Go and show him a lot of love. Thank you, gentlemen. Me and Pat will just wrap up. So yeah, you know where to find Alf, and thank you. Right, Pat, me and you, mate, wrapping up. Might as well let everyone know. Couple of things, like I said, we have now added the Football Choice Football Content Creator Award 2025 is now in the link down below. So if you want to vote for us, that's more than welcome. Also, don't forget, 2nd of August, the Dev Club up in Newcastle. I will get the full details. I will be doing some commentary up there. These are the prizes you can get if you've got a friend or a loved one who's a Newcastle fan, or you've got Newcastle fans. These are what you can win. Let me know, DM me, email me. I will send you the link or the phone number of the person it is to Baz who's going to deal with this. So if you've got a Newcastle fan in your life, by all means, let me know and we'll put you in touch with them. But it's going to be a great day for charity as well. Also, City Luke TV has started a GoFundMe. I will pin the link as well into the show for his family member who's sadly got cancer. So he is on a mission at the moment. So please show him a lot of love. Yeah, it's so sad and we want to show the community. I'll just see if I can actually get the link for you, City Luke. Pat, is there anything you want to add while I'm just finding the links?
Not necessarily. I mean, it just feels like it's been a bit of a slow news week for me personally, just from what I've seen in the city. But yeah, just you said some good words, some strong words yesterday with your recorded show. And fair play, it was well overdue. But besides all that, yeah, just looking forward to getting over to your neck of the woods in the coming days, and yeah, it should be a fun time over there. Looking forward to catching up with a few of the other content creators as well, and yeah, just. Let's just enjoy some nice little bit of downtime now in the coming weeks and get ourselves ready in August when we go again and try and get this Premier League title back.
Yeah. So there is the link for Luke's GoFundMe. I will just show you, just so people can actually see. Where is it? There it is. So there it is. Hadrian's Wall Walk for Cancer Research. Trying to hit a £500 target. Luke and Paul Jones are organising this on behalf of Cancer Research UK. Myself and friends will be walking the whole of Hadrian's Wall in July 2026. So you've still got a long time to do this. We're going to be over 4 to 5 days, covering 86 miles. It's raising money in aid of cancer research. There it talks about his sad situation with 2 cancer family members and someone who's been diagnosed with Parkinson's as well. While I'm on this little thing, so big up City Luke, show him a lot of love. While I'm on this as well, I'm going to do a charity walk myself. Now, I am disabled. I do have a walking stick. I'm going to try and see what I can do, whether family members as well, but we are going to do an Alzheimer's or dementia walk as well. In aid of my mother and my father, which so we may try and do a charity thing, but we're not going to do it through YouTube because YouTube are naughty and take 40-50%. Naughty, and we don't want to do that. So we are going to look at that in the future. There are loads of things coming up on the channel. I will say this: if I upset anyone or offended anyone last night, I'm sorry. That's the way we're going to move forward with the show. Me, Pat, Ozzy, Rich, Alan, we're not here to be abused. We're here to be disagreed with or agreed with, or just let's have a nice show. Simple fact. If you come in here to be abused or be a dick, the moderators have one job. Goodbye. No second chance. You are gone. One thing I will say, though, can we not delete comments? Leave the comments underneath the videos to me or Pat or Rich. We will sort that. I know you're amazing moderators, but please moderate in the live chat. The comments underneath are just because a couple of people have got upset. We've deleted them. We're not in for this, only positive comments. If people want to send us feedback, good or bad, we want to know. Because it's your channel. We want you to have your say. Listen, we will probably start slowing down in the next 10 days. There won't be a Blues Down Under on Wednesday because somebody's on a plane. I mean, you could just do it from the plane.
All right,
no?
no.
Lazy bastard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I'm just going to enjoy my business class. Okay.
And can I just say about another thing? When me, Alan, Rich, or Pat or Ozzy call each other names, we're doing it as a laugh, a bit of banter. We're friends. If you think this is bad, you want to see our WhatsApp group. This lot bully me like crazy.
Or when we're in person. Oh, here we go. So you pull out your victim card. Because we all know we all know where you pulled it out of.
Alan's asshole.
No, to be honest, okay, whatever does it for you. But no, yeah, the group chat's a bit of a messy place, but then it's even worse when we're in person.
Yeah. Next Thursday, the 17th, there won't be a Thursday night chat because we're all going out. It was not arranged by us. This was arranged by Daps. Even if Daps cancels, we're all going out. Pat, me, Ozzy, Fee, I think's coming.
Right, Daps, Big Steve, possibly
Daps,
LB.
Big Steve. Maybe LB. We'll see, but we'll do photos and everything. We're going to have a good old night out. On the Friday's my daughter's graduation from university. And then Friday night, Saturday morning.
What time's the graduation, mate? Because we might be out late.
Wednesday, yeah. My daughter's graduation on there. Pat shit channel. Look at that shit channel slowing down. Pat, piss off. You've been slowing down for 2 weeks. When Luke went away, we're going away now. You can take over, you. So yeah, I'll be in Antalya. All right. Oh yeah, you actually going to meet them? Yes, I am. If you want to come, mate, you come as well, Bevel. We are gonna have a drink. We're gonna have a good time. Friday, my daughter's graduation. And so I can't miss that. Jesus, I missed my daughter's graduation. I am in trouble. Wow.
You won't be doing a walk. You won't be doing a charity walk. You'll be charity sprinting.
I won't be going on holiday either. I'll be sat. I'll be at home on my bill card.
You'll be running. You'll be running and throwing the money.
Imagine if I miss my daughter's graduation because I'm drunk.
Oh. Well, I'm sure there's nothing wrong with doing. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with doing hair with the dog at the graduation. I'm sure they had some hip flasks in the gift shop. The city store.
And then on the Saturday, I'm off on a plane as well. He's going to Oasis Saturday night. I'm going to Antalya. I know which one I'd rather be going to. And it won't be Oasis. But if you are going to Oasis, enjoy the Poznan. I've heard Liam's making everyone do the Poznan around the, which is quite fun. And apparently, if you are a United fan, you are getting told to fuck off out the concert, which is lovely. Money back. Bye-bye. Yeah, am I getting dressed up? No, I will be. I'm wearing a suit, though, on my daughter's graduation. But yeah, Pat, English beer is stronger than Aussie beer. Yeah. The good news is Alan's not coming.
How strong it is doesn't taste, but as long as
Alan's not coming, so Manchester ladies, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Alan is staying in Oz. No, I'm only joking.
Alan doesn't know how to get there.
Although Pat, are you in Manchester Wednesday? I'm going to Wednesday one.
Yeah, likely I'll be there before Wednesday.
But somebody's going for a meeting with the club beforehand.
Yeah.
See, you all think I work for the club. He's going for a frigging meeting with the club. Piss off him.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget, memberships are open for the 25-26 season for Sydney Blues.
Yeah, we'll look after Sydney Blues, but bollocks to the fucking homegrown fans. Anyway.
Told you this club went to the dogs after Tiago left.
Martin, how can we donate? I'll set a GoFundMe up, DC. But nearer the time. It won't be for a few months yet. I will keep you updated. But loads of things will slow down. We will probably going to have a break over the 2 weeks. We'll be back 2nd of August. Not obviously there should be a show Thursday, but the one thing we're not going to do for the next 10 days is just talk for the sake of talking. If there is no news, we're not coming. There's no point. We're not going to bore you and force you. We're not doing the clickbaity shit. LB's not done out for 4 or 5 days. That's how we're not just going to throw content at you. One thing is, though, there's a brand new show that is going to be alternate week starting tomorrow night on True City Fan around about 8 p.m. Called Back to the Future. where we're just going to talk. We're going to be like me and Pat, True City fan. What do it? And we'll get Alan on it at some point, and there'll be a history show starting on here as well with Alan Rich and a couple of others. There's loads of plans. Oil Brothers planned. There's loads. The US show's kicking off in August. Absolute loads planned. Honestly, you're going to be wanting the 2-week break because when we get back from the 1st, 2nd of August, we are going to throw content at you, and it's going to be quality content. The other thing is the podcast will kick off again from August. Ozzy and Faye will be your brand new hosts. That is all arranged. Pat, me, we will all be. I'm going to be on it. I'm going to try and stay out of it a bit more, though, because I don't want to get bored of my rushing good looks and my sexy toning voice.
That's why you're on a podcast.
I was on my husky toned, sexy voice there.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a face for podcasts and a voice for 1920s movies.
And apparently I'm a main road wanker, so hey.
Yeah. New merch dropping next season.
But yeah, one thing we're going to do this year, we are going to have fun on this channel. We're going to bring fun back to football. If you want the meltdowns and you want the chairs out the window and you want the abusiveness, we are not for you, and that is okay. If we're not your cup of tea, thank you for giving us a try. But we're not for you. Not everyone is for us. We want to be, like I said, we want to be the best, not the biggest.
Yeah. We're not going to be happy clapper. We'll just be on the happy pills.
Right. Anyway, Pat, we'll see you. So we should be back Thursday. In breaks.
Oh, jeez. He doesn't, not this Thursday anymore.
I found the mute button after they'd finished coughing.
You had to push it, not eat it.
If I started eating this, it looked like a whole different stream.
You decided to buy the disco robot.
That's
disco
robot
knob.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, South Stand Boys in Blue. I think he's back tomorrow, but I don't want to guarantee. I'm not sure. We'll see, because I'm not sure. I know people are all starting going away. I know LB's going away soon. I'm away. Loads of people are now starting to go away for their summer holidays. So, yeah. But if you are and we don't see you, have a lovely summer. If we don't see you before, we'll see you in August, where we all kick off again. Oh, one thing also, you're getting new graphics, new intros, new outros, new thumbnails, new outlays, the new lot.
Unfortunately, not a new Alan.
But you're getting the same old Alan, Pat, and Rich and us. A new me, but old them lot. Anyway, as always,
you like getting a new Martin. Where's the rest of you? 2 stone now, I believe you've lost.
I'm trying. I am trying. But yeah, we'll do a space in 10 minutes. Take care all. And as always, up the Blues. Thank you to all our callers. You are the best. Take care. Love you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Big up to all the people. Bye all.
Bye.